Firstly, let's start. What is omni-channel marketing? Well, at the basic definition, it is multi-channel marketing with a seamless customer experience. I think you will understand multi-channel, being able to acquire prospects from a multitude of digital channels. But of course, in this case, omni-channel also means offline. And this is something I want to say to you guys as well. It is very common for a new entrepreneur, a new digital entrepreneur, to be so biased towards the online channel that they diss anything offline. And I made that mistake as well, right? Like screw the newspapers, screw the yellow pages, screw TV and radio. And guess what? When I went up the food chain and the ladder, remember, that 500,000 to 10 million a year company to that 50 million, I realized that almost every $50 million company would have in their marketing mix the offline channels. So be careful, my friends, about criticizing offline channels. There is a place for radio. There is a place for television. Declining, yes. Declining in relevance, yes. But there's still a place for such channels. I can give you many examples, but you probably don't work with these companies. Let's take one for example, fast-moving consumer good. If you're going to be selling shampoo, and one of the market leaders will be Procter & Gamble, and they bring in shampoo brands into Singapore and Malaysia regularly, the fastest way to build brand recognition is to use mass media. Of course, for mass media to work, that product will need to have sufficient distribution. In other words, when Procter & Gamble comes in with a new brand X shampoo, they would have distributed that shampoo across 1,000 retail stores already. So it's convenient. You walk into any store, you would see that shampoo, except no one knows about the shampoo. So what did you do? They go on a national TV broadcast. They go into the cinemas for, the first 90 days to build that brand recall and brand prominency. And after that, that product sells on autopilot because of distribution and brand recall. Is it our game? Not really. But just to explain to you that every channel has its value. And you can tell a very enthusiastic digital marketer, enthusiastic and an inexperienced person when he walks into a large company, especially, and he starts to talk crap about offline channels and how they are crappy in favor of online marketing. Well, as I said, I totally disagree, because I've seen the power of radio, I've seen the power of television, I've seen the power of newspaper done correctly with the right type of companies. And typically, these are large national brands. So what does seamless customer experience have to do with everything? Well, seamless customer experience simply means regardless of which channel they interact with a brand or company, well, the customer should feel as though the brand or company understands which stage they are in the customer journey. And I'm going to explain to you this shortly. This is an example of a customer journey. If you cannot read the slides, it starts from left to right, from awareness to interest, consideration, purchase, retention, and advocacy. Different customer journeys can be mapped differently. You can have just a 3-stage one, and a 3-stage would be awareness, consideration, conversion, essentially. But the reason why I'm showing you this is because this is really the right customer journey you want to be looking at, the right type of funnel you want to be looking at, because if you notice that this has 6 stages, and I like details because most funnels leave out retention and advocacy. Ladies and gentlemen, when you leave out retention and advocacy, you are leaving out repeat customer sales. When you leave out repeat customer sales, you are leaving out lifetime value of the customer. And that is the biggest mistake you can make as a practitioner, which is to go after that first sale and to neglect the repeat sales. Let me tell you this. Majority of companies thrive on repeat sales. The weakest aspect of most small businesses is that of retention, not acquisition. Retention. But if you don't have acquisition, you will have very weak retention. You can have strong acquisition and still little to no retention. And again, it's all about the marketing maturity, the experiential learning as you go about solving other people's problem as a CRO. And this is something that I've been learning in the last 2 to 3 years for sure, and seeing with my own eyes the value of having marketing campaigns for customer retention and customer advocacy itself, which is the right side of the entire funnel. But most funnels are, again, right, awareness, consideration, purchase, and it stops there. And I think it's very misleading and very dangerous, because if you only have a 3-stage funnel, you'll be working very hard, because all the time you will need to continue to acquire new customers. So, looking at this basic customer journey, my point is that it is imperative, isn't it? Especially with you as a CRO, to introduce systems that allow an organization to track the stage of the customer journey for each customer and prospect. So that's to be clear. A prospect is someone whom you have done lead generation, they are in your database, but they have not purchased. A customer is someone who has purchased from you at least once. The customer journey and the stages are obviously different from prospect to customer. So the goal of the prospect marketing is to get them to become a customer. And the goal of customer marketing is to get them to buy again and again and again and again. Put them on a subscription plan, and so on and so forth. So, seamless customer experience requires the company to have enough data points such that, for example, if the customer is in the consideration phase, so he knows about your product, he knows about the testimonials, he knows about the benefits of your product. Well, number one, you should know what digital assets, we call these, in terms of videos, white papers, you have already sent out to this person, what he has already consumed. And if he is in the consideration phase, you just probably need to time a promotion, give him a personalized discount, and this can be done by email, of course. Personalized coupons are all no more new stuff, to push him over to purchase. Because he has all the information he needs to make a decision, he's probably waiting for a better price. And this is why promotions and sales work. Your Black Fridays work, because in many situations, these prospects have already decided to purchase. They're waiting for the timing. And this is where sales come in, your promotions come in. And for those of you who don't like to do store-wide promotions, no problem. Do individualized promotions. So you don't have to sacrifice 20% of sales by having store-wide 20% every single time. But if you understand customer journey and customer experience, you can tailor a private 20% sale for a customer who's ready to buy because he's at the consideration phase. And when he reaches the consideration phase, you send him a secret coupon that only he can apply to make his purchase without you having to sacrifice store-wide sales because of one guy. That is why you need the right system and platform. That's where the CRM comes in. I believe Groove has a CRM that they are offering customers. And friends, let's start with the basics, right? A CRM can be treated as a basic email marketing platform with the ability to tag the behavior of your customers. So for example, when someone opts in to my free report, I tag him as a prospect because I now have his email address, and I track whether or not he is consuming my white paper or PDF. If he does open up the PDF and click on the link to download, I tag him as downloaded white paper. Then I embed a special link, like a special bonus in my PDF, where if he clicks on that on the last page, I know he has consumed my PDF. I now tag him as read white paper. Now, what is the difference between a prospect who has read my white paper and a prospect who has not read my white paper? Well, big difference. One has acquired information to go to the next stage of the funnel, one has not. So as long as the guy hasn't read my PDF, well, maybe he doesn't like to read, I'm going to send him a video now with pretty much the same information and track whether he plays my video. And if he has, great, I tag him as played video on basic product knowledge, and now I know he's in the interest and consideration phase. So you need a system of such. The basic system would be an email system that you can tag your prospects based on their actions and what they do, as well as what they don't do. And that's also important. And not trying to advertise for anybody, but this is one sort of a CRM system. You have Infusionsoft that does tagging really well. Your basic Aweber would do that. Your MailChimp would do that as well. Of course, the enterprise guys use Salesforce, a little bit overpriced if you ask me, and typically out of range for most SMEs itself. But you have a lot. You have ActiveCampaign and the whole list of systems. Basically, the job of the system, once again, is to track the customer journey and which phase they are in, so that you know what type of marketing for follow-up itself, which is why we say seamless customer journey. What I also mean, my friends, is that from the customer perspective, right? I mean, we as marketers are taking everything from a technical perspective. Did he download my ebook? Did he read my ebook? Did he watch my video? Am I tagging him on all these activities? The customer doesn't care. All the customer wants is information to make enough of a decision to make a purchase. And obviously, the reason why you have to track what he has done is that you don't serve him the same information, the same ads when he's already a customer. And I see this so often on Facebook. I see so many of the vendors where I've already purchased a product. Guess what? They try to sell me the same product again. Why do you do that? Why do you waste inventory? In Facebook, they charge you CPM, cost per mil, cost per 1,000 impressions. And I'm one of those 1,000 impressions. But why serve me an ad for a product I've already purchased? It doesn't make sense. It simply means that this organization hasn't gotten their act together. They don't have the right data. They don't even know I'm a customer, because if I'm a customer, you simply exclude me, right? As a custom audience in Facebook. I mean, if you run Facebook ads, you should know these things. You upload prospect information as custom audience. You upload customer information as custom audience. You target prospect. You exclude customers for that specific product or service. So your customers will never see ads that on products they have purchased. The next job of CRM is that it does a very good job of nurturing your prospect. You see, the act of sending him a free report, a video, a PDF, it shouldn't be manual. It should be automated. So we are dealing with pretty much, if you just look at logic, the if-then rules, right? If check, has he downloaded and consumed PDF? Yes. If he has, send him advanced PDF guide. automatically. So one action occurs after the prospect or customer has taken a previous action. It becomes an if-then setup in your marketing automation platform. So if he is customer, send him a customer-only promotion. If customer has not purchased within 90 days, send him a I miss you email. If customer has not purchased in 180 days, send him a special coupon code to get him to come back and buy from you again. So again, it's not about what they have done. You also want to monitor prospects on things they have not done, because truth be told, the guys who are taking action, they will become a customer one day. That's the easy part. The difficult part is when you understand in most scenarios of conversion to sales, right? I think if you've gone through webinars, you know the standard conversion to sales for e-commerce is typically 3%. If you're lucky, maybe 5%. Maybe if you're lucky and you have a strong offer and everything else. 5% is the exception. 3% is the norm. So the question is this: what about the 95% who are not taking action? So knowing what they are not doing and having a proper marketing automation flow allows you, Mr. CRO, Miss CRO, Chief Revenue Officer, to recover lost sales, to recover lost prospects. Arguably, the job of recovering lost sales and lost prospect is more important because there's more money to be made from people who have not taken action than the people who have taken action based on percentages. 97% of your prospects who land on your web page do not take action. 3% do. But your business can't survive on 3%. What you want to do is to double your 3% to 6%. And that means, mathematically, I want to have to convert 3 more people. Let's say 100 people come to your store, 3 buys, that's 3%. I want to be able to convert 3 more people to push my conversion to 6%. And I need 3 from 97. Now, friends, again, without going too deep, because I don't have a lot of deep slides for you here, my point is very simple. The amateur who doesn't understand about funnels, retargeting, and all these jazz focuses on acquisition. There's nothing wrong with acquisition, except acquisition is costly, it's expensive. It's $20 per 1,000 impressions, not clicks, impressions on Facebook, for example. Your focus, once the funnel starts building, is to focus on the 97 who are not buying, rather than just constantly focusing on new prospects in your funnel. I know many of you do that, right? You run a lot of Facebook ads only to get a 3% conversion, and you run Facebook ads for another 3%. In other words, your focus on strategy is always to find that new 100 people to close 3, another 100 to close 3, another 100 to close 3. Guess what? That's a very expensive process because 3 people don't pay the bills for the 100. Focus on the 97 to get 3 more customers. Is it so difficult? Because the 97 already know you. They are already on your web page. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you just blindly retarget 97. That's not the point. The point is to be able to segment the 97 from the serious as opposed to the curious. You do your segmentation, you do your sorting from the 97 and sort them serious and curious. Look here, it's probably going to be 80-20, right? It's probably going to be 80% of the 97 who are not serious, who probably will not buy. The 20% are the ones you focus on. Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. And guess what? From the 20, you need 3 more. And your marketing automation should be designed to extract 3 more from that 20%. So from 20 people or 19 people, if you want to be very specific about math, convert 3 out of 19. That is what good marketing is all about. And what do you do after that? Well, again, the amateur is getting 100 in to sell 3, 100 in to sell 3. Now you have 6 because you converted 3 more from that 20%. You now have 6 customers. The target is 20% of your customers become lifetime customers. This is where you, remember, Mr., Mrs., Miss CRO will be scraping the barrels to make revenues magically appear when they seem to have no more revenues out there. So what is the marketing flow here? Attract interest, capture the leads, nurture the prospects, convert them into sales. I'm just reading out the slides. Deliver and satisfy, for sure. Upsell customers, get referrals. Upsell customers is retention and getting them to become customers again. Get referrals is advocacy, by the way. So now let me go in and talk about customer journey. And of course, I'm going to do a Q&A shortly after this. It starts off with a customer journey map. And some of you may be unfamiliar with this. Allow me to just walk through with you very quickly. So a customer journey is the path comprising all interactions, touch points, and channels, both online and offline, experienced by a customer when interacting with your brand. And it looks like this. What you're doing here, and this is known as a customer journey map, is that you, Mr. CRO, Miss CRO, you're going to go into the organization. The larger the organization, the more important this is. And I can almost guarantee you that not more than 1% of companies have a customer journey map. So let me give you an example. I was once brought in to help a travel agency. And the travel agency is obviously facing declining sales. They used to sell a lot of air tickets, but now the airlines have gone direct to screw them, of course. Then they turned to selling rooms in hotels. And now hotels are screwing them because they're going direct as well. That leaves them with package tours. And I asked the CEO over there, do you even know your customer journey? And he obviously reacts, what is that? And I explained the customer journey. And the reason why I forced the CEO to work with the team to come up with a customer journey map is because, obviously, being a travel agency, a large percentage of their sales come from phone calls, teleconsults, and front counter sales where people walk in and book itself. Internet sales are there, but their internet websites at that point in time really sucked. So we focus. If you're a CRO, you put your hat on and you want to solve a revenue problem, you must first understand where the revenues are coming from. Again, 80-20 rule, my friends. Mistake a lot of digital entrepreneurs make. They walk into a company like this, they preach how important digital marketing is, Facebook ads and funnels are, and they start going that direction. Wrong. You need to find out 80-20 rule. Where are 80% of the sales coming from? I'm going to tell you, in a traditional travel agency, it is not the internet. In a traditional agency, 80% of the sales probably come from front counter sales and phone calls. You need to solve this problem, even though this may not be digital problem because you're CRO. You're not CDRO. You're not Chief Digital Revenue Officer. I did not make a mistake when I told you you need to play the role of CRO. Money is money. Money is money. Revenues is revenues, regardless of where it comes from. When you put on a CRO cap, my friends, your job is to increase their revenues. And here's the problem. The problem is, if the company has little to no online sales because their entire website totally sucks. Yes, of course, you want to prescribe a brand new e-commerce system that can do this and that and this and that. All well and good for sure. But their pressing problem right now is the fact that you need to stop the bleeding of their revenues. And it so happens that 80% of their sales are coming from phone calls and walk-in. What do? You solve that problem first. And this type of problem solving from CRO can never be surfaced without a customer journey map, right? And that's the reason why you need to understand what a customer journey map is. You're going to be mapping every interaction of the existing customer flow. Now remember, again, don't just think that you're always going to deal with digital companies. You could be dealing with a multi-million-dollar traditional company and you want to introduce digital at a certain point in time. But if the current flow is offline, so be it. Start there, Mr. CRO. So what we do is we plot the stages from which the prospect learns about the company, and it could jolly well be newspapers, my friend. All right, if it's newspapers, so be it. If it's newspapers, work on looking at the ad and maybe diverting some of the newspaper traffic to the internet, for example. And you can do that by influencing the copy, the headline of the ad itself, even though it's a newspaper. Copy is copy. Persuasion is persuasion. So as you work with the business owner, and again, you don't really have to attend a course on this. You can simply Google. There are a lot of videos on customer journey and customer maps. And I think you should be intelligent enough to understand what the process is. But the key is to be able to implement and suggest. This is where your value add, my friend, comes in. So as a CRO, it's imperative you understand what a customer journey map is and work with the business owner, especially the more complex businesses, to come up with a journey map. Because over here, you can see here that the third stage of this, which is the experience where the smileys are, this actually comes from the customer perspective, by the way. And the way we obtain such data is through interviews, focus groups, bring in their top customers, reward them with a lunch, a gift. Say, you know what, I need 1 hour of your time. I want to ask you some questions. Why haven't you purchased from us in the last year? Well, because of this, because of that. Your front table staff was rude to me and I decided to go somewhere else. This is very valuable information. So in other words, the customer will tell you their experience and their rating for each and every one of these touch points. So a touch point, my friends, is not just your Facebook ad. Your customer help desk, your phone consultations, your emails are all touch points. They work together to take a prospect from awareness all the way sensitive. From awareness all the way to purchase and post-purchase. And the idea here is to work on all the negative customer experiences, we call it friction, and take away the friction so that the customer path can be much smoother. And by just increasing and lifting customer experience, you will automatically improve sales. Because an unhappy customer will never buy from you. A happy customer will buy from you and will be less price sensitive. And a happy customer is more likely to be an advocate for you. The benefits of optimizing the customer journey, therefore, are as follows. Number one, higher customer satisfaction. I told you that I'll be joining on the dots, isn't it? Customer experience. The bottom line is this, my friends, that if you just focus on making customers happy and satisfied, you will benefit from reduced customer acquisition costs because there's less friction. They have less reasons not to buy from you. You also benefit from higher revenues and sales. You get to streamline your customer journey because your customer journey is directly related to your business processes. And by streamlining it, you get to improve your business process, you improve efficiency, remove friction, and it translates into financial gain for the business owner in that of lower cost of operations. More importantly, stage number 3, improve customer advocacy because you're going to benefit from higher customer lifetime value. A happy customer buys more from you and also is more likely to refer people to you. I'm going to cover this one more before I take any Q&A. I want to share with you what we call the modern customer journey. And the reason for this is because most of us are used to seeing what we call traditional funnel. And the reason why a funnel is called a funnel is because it's broad at the top and it's narrow below. And we've accepted this conventional wisdom for a long, long time. Remember, 100 people, 50 are interested, 20 consider, 3 buy. We accept this funnel as a biblical truth. Well, I want to debunk this myth and share with you the modern customer journey. And the modern customer journey looks like this. This is extracted from my good friends at Vendesta. And this is really what the funnel should be. Firstly, it shouldn't be vertical, it should be horizontal. And yes, from awareness to interest, or they call findability, reputation, conversion, there's a narrowing of the funnel because it's a process of filtering between, remember, right? The curious and the serious. But where the traditional funnel stops is where we start. And where we start is the broadening of the funnel post-purchase. And that's where the advocacy come in. The report card on the customer experience really comes in. And there's a whole lot of activities, my friends, that the digital marketer and the CRO person can and should do and execute in terms of activities to grow this part of the customer journey. So there's a narrowing initially, but there should be a broadening if you do a good job. I can tell you for sure that a large percentage of SIA's revenue, Singapore Airlines revenues, comes from its loyal customers because it has an amazing loyalty program that makes it so sticky that even if the customer was shown a cheaper first class ticket with a competing airline, the Singapore Airlines customer will continue the loyalty to Singapore Airlines because of a phenomenal customer experience that SIA offers them and an amazing loyalty program that disincentivizes them from switching airlines. That is how Singapore Airlines have been able to maintain their global revenues, obviously, of course, until COVID came along, and their brand loyalty all these years.